Okay, so here's what we're going to do now for the benefit of time, because I'm already a little bit behind now. Let's do some coaching now around niche. We're going to do an exercise, and then for those of you that want to need it, we'll do some coaching around niche. So this exercise is taken from the niche training that you all should have access to, which was a bonus when you bought Master Coach, and it is really a implementable, simplified version of everything that we've just been talking about. So when it comes to niche, the good thing for you to know is there's only 3 categories, just to remind you of that. So the 3 categories are, just to remind you, health, which is anything to do with a physical, mental, or emotional well-being, change, result. Wealth, which is anything to do with income, career, business, get clients, that type of thing. And relationship, which will be anything to do with parenting, dating, marriage, etc. Anything to do with interpersonal relationships. So if you've had any issue with choosing which category your coaching should live in, here's how you decide. I call this the last minute speaker slot concept. I just made that up. What that means is, imagine, Wendy, that you're at an event and you're kind of one of the speakers, or you're not scheduled to speak at that event, but somebody's pulled out because they're not very well. You're competent and you know enough about your subject that you could get up and talk about it for half an hour. And the event organizer has said, "Hey, Wendy, would you mind filling in this next slot for us?" And because you're so knowledgeable about your subject, given a few minutes notice, you could come up with 5 points to teach your audience over a 30-minute session, maybe with a bit of Q&A in there. Ultimately, you know what you're talking about. You don't have to blag it. You don't have to wing it. You don't have to bullshit. You know that area. So much so, if you were put on the spot, Polly, with 5 minutes notice, as long as you could give yourself a few minutes to maybe do a couple of cue cards or go, okay, what are the 5 key things I want to teach? You know your topic enough that you could get up and do that last minute speaker slot. That's how you clarify which of those categories you should be playing in. Now, you may say, well, I could do it in more than one. Great. If you had to choose, which one is the one that you're most best at? And you go with that. So mine is the wealth niche, because if you said to me, last minute speaker slot, it's a fitness event, get on stage and talk about sales in gyms, I could come up with 5 points. Or if it was a coaching event, I could get up on stage and do the lifestyle coach method without any slides. And I could say, here are the 5 things that you need to know and do to be successful as a coach in 2023. So you want to ask yourself, what would you talk about? And then that will tell you which category you're in. So Sarah said within context. Yeah, so obviously it depends on the type of event, but the point you want to think about right now is not what type of conference is it. Don't worry about that. The point is, which category do you know have the most amount of expertise in? Health, wealth, or relationships? That's all you need to think about at this level. Which area do you have the most expertise in? And for the benefit of this being a training that isn't just a one-way thing, put in the comments which one is your zone of genius? Put in the comments. Is it health? Is it wealth? Or is it relationship? You're up on stage, 5 minutes notice, there's 500 people, you're up next. Which category are you going to speak about? Daryl says wealth. Yeah, give it up for Sarah, by the way, posting the highlights. It's brilliant. She always does that. Thank you, Sarah. Julie says health. Sarah says health and or wealth. Which one would it be if you had to choose, Sarah? Mark says relationship. Matiha says health. Sarah says wealth. For those of you who maybe haven't commented yet, I'd love to know. Put it in the comments. Eva says health. Yeah, Daryl says it's interesting because it goes across wealth and relationship, but I guess it's wealth more. Yeah, so Polly says relationship. Yeah, so here's a feedback loop for you on that one, Daryl. So Miles More Members is a wealth niche, but what I actually deliver is around relationships. So the message, remember, niche is a marketing tactic to get attention, right? So the marketing tactic to get attention is, hey, if you're a gym and you want to make more money, and you want to have more members, I'm your guy. Then when I train them, I'm not training them on money stuff. I'm training them on relationship. Like if you use a person's name, you're more likely to build rapport and they're more likely to join. That's relationship. But I'm not using relationship as the marketing tactic because that isn't what they want. Here's another distinction I've learned about marketing and around niching. Give people what they want, not what they need. So when it comes to marketing, Eva, you've got to give people what they want, not what they need. So you might, in fact, let me word it better than that. You market what they want, and then when they're in, you then give them what they need. So you market what people want, but then when they're in, then you give them what they need. So people come on our one-day training, what they want, most of them, is the certificate to say they've done their level one day thing, right? But then I give them what they need, which is the 5 steps to be successful as a coach, the lifestyle coach method. So gyms come to me and they say, yeah, we want more members. I go, great. So what you're going to need, Fatiha, is to learn how to build better relationships with your customers. That's what you're going to need. If you want to do that without lots of paid advertising, you're going to have to become better at relationships with your members. And that's got nothing to do with money. That's to do with human needs and values and a hybrid of NLP and coaching stuff that I teach. So market what they want and then give them what they need. Okay? So assuming that you've all chose a category that you'd speak about, the next thing that you want to do, write on a piece of paper, write down on your notepad, 3 Ps. So put 3 Ps, one then another underneath, and another underneath that. So now you know your category. There's 3 things that you've got to do next. Within the category that you've chose, you've got to have the first P, which is a specific person. What that means is you've got to have a specific avatar that you're speaking to. Stephen Covey wrote a great book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, if you want to be understood, seek first to understand. You may want to write that down. He said, if you want to be understood, seek first to understand. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you an example. I went in to consult a gym many years ago, and their marketing, they asked me for some feedback. I said, it's not very good. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, your flyers, you're using loads of fitness jargon. You're using terms like triceps and abductor and gluteus maximus. And I said, why are you using all this fitness lingo? Bearing in mind, they're a gym in like North Yorkshire. For those of you that don't know, like it's a very like friendly, jovial, bubbly type of place where fitness wasn't the thing. It wasn't like they're in Los Angeles or Miami or London where it was, you could kind of get away with that. They weren't in a fitness town. So you're using fitness language to people who aren't fitness. So people don't want fitness. I say people don't want coaching. People don't want fitness. No one really wants to join the gym. Who in their right mind wants to go and get sweaty in an environment with strangers 5 days a week? Sounds horrendous. Yeah, I do it 5 days a week.